It's just after 4 o'clock, November 14th, sitting out in the backyard again for an evening hunt. We got south winds tonight, 10 to 15 mile an hour. Still seeing a lot of buck activity cruising through our property, so I'm going to try to catch up to this big 8-pointer. I've seen him twice. This willow tree I'm sitting in tonight, my sister Janine and I planted this tree probably 15 years ago. It's amazing how fast these things grow. The first year out, some buck rubbed on the tree and kind of wrecked it. So it grew up as more of a bush, which in the end has turned out nice because it gives me a lot more cover. There's probably 5 different trunks. Man. Man. Well, I just shot that big 8. Too bad it was in the guts. He just slowly walked off. I tried calling to get him to come back. Oh, man. I had that Rage 2.3. That's that new one I picked up. So it's got a big cut, you know. If with any luck, I got him in the liver, but I don't know about it. Probably just going to have to give that thing overnight. Oh, man. So I got the camera on him, and right when I was ready to hook on my release on the string, the arrow came off. And so I had to mat twice to get him to stop and stay there while I'm trying to get my arrow back on the string and get my release on the string. What a fiasco. But luckily he stayed there. That arrow zipped right through him. I can still see it there in the ground. So we'll get down a little bit and look at the arrow to see if there's any blood at all, but I'm pretty sure that's just a gut shot. It stinks. I first seen him over by my corn plot, and I got the binocs up, and whoa, I said, whoa, that's the guy I want. So I started calling, and he came over here. He looked like he was kind of looking around, but I just couldn't get everything all lined up at the right time. I wanted to call just one more time to get him to come right towards my tree, but he ended up cutting through it about 30 yards out. My distance was good. I just was back. He started to take a step right when I was shooting, I think is what the deal was. I hope we can recover that guy. It'd be sweet, right here in the backyard. So it's been 3 hours. Andy came over and was going to go look, or at least go look at the kill site, the scene of the crime. See what we come up with. Probably still too early to push them. But I want to see the arrow and what kind of blood we got to work with. Unbelievable. No movement? Andy and I are tracking this thing, and I looked up the fence line. I saw some white. Turns out it was just tail. Oh, wow.
You know what? That's a nice buck.
Wow.
He could be a little older than you thought, Jake. Look at the mass on him.
That rage must have got him good, because he only went 100 yards, 150.
He's still pussing here.
Yeah, he's done.
That is a nice buck, Jag.
Well, we found him November 14th, sitting in the backyard. This guy came through and made what I thought was a bad shot. Turned out it wasn't as bad as we thought, because he only went about 100, 200 yards down the neighbor's property and was dead right in the middle of his yard. So glad to find him. Glad to have a backyard buck.
Rotate him around just a little bit there. There you go. Show him off a little bit.
This deer was on my trail camera, which is basically right where we're sitting, 3 times now in the last 4 or 5 days. So thankfully it was just a matter of time before I caught up to him. I actually came out here yesterday, and he had walked by about a half an hour before I got here. So probably the biggest deer that I've seen come through here this year, besides old Flat Top, but I heard he's about 3 miles down the road.